Welcome to Hammer and Nails with Skip and Allison Bedell.
Hey, I'm here. It's me. What's going on? And you are Allison Bedell.
I'm Allison Bedell.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for coming back.
¿Qué pasa?
Hey, now.
We're at the Rancho.
El Rancho Bedello.
Yeah. I noticed that when we are over with Joe at his studio, talking with him, everything that I had planned to talk about, we never talk about.
Well, because we get into all kinds of crazy conversations.
I get easily distracted.
Yeah, they usually revolve around Joe's balls or asshole, one or the other. I don't know how he always manages to suck us into those conversations. Yeah.
I know. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I love to talk about all those things. It's just
Joe's body parts.
Yeah, it's just definitely when we're around him, it's like almost like a little mini party.
And it's always fun. It's a good time going over there, right? We just have a good time. I mean, we could record for hours when we're there. It's just always fun.
Yeah. So, being that he's not with us today, I'm going to hit some of the things that we usually talk about what's going on, and we got some listener questions. You have some tips.
I do.
I have some tips.
You do.
And
I like your tips.
Yeah, stuff.
Do you like my tip?
I love your tip. Love your tip.
More than one, or just is it plural?
Tips.
Yeah.
So I love your Skip's tips.
All
and
right.
there's a lot of stuff going on in the news that I wanted to talk to you about. We haven't actually had a lot of conversation about things going on because you've been so consumed with working on our kitchen project.
Yeah, it's funny that we have a little bit of time off from like filming the show and some of the other projects that we always have going on, and always traveling and doing stuff. So I'm trying to take advantage of that time and work on our own house for like the first chance we've had in a long time. So, yeah, I'm completely immersed in it.
Yesterday, your mom said, "How long have you been working on it?" And Skip's like, "It's like a week. And then I looked in the phone at the pictures that we took the video when you were doing demo, and that was February 6th. And yesterday was the 28th.
So it's like 3 weeks. But that's close.
But you sincerely thought it was 1 week.
I have no concept of time right now because I'm just, I don't even know what day it is, honestly.
Can you move your microphone closer to you?
Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, so like time and the calendar right now is like kind of it's an interesting concept because it's just it doesn't register. I'm just like very focused on what we're doing with this job and everything, and I know that I have a couple of weeks to do it, and I'm here, so it's almost like the days just kind of bleed into the next. So it's funny. Yeah, I mean, I said 1 week, but it's been 3 weeks. I mean, it's pretty close though. It's only
not even
only 2 away.
No,
2 is a small number. Think about it.
So let's talk about how far you are into this project. So you demoed all of the walls, you took down all of the framing that was there, and all of the electrical and all the plumbing.
Yeah, so if you guys can imagine, we had like a space that there was 3 rooms in this space. Off the living room, there was a second bathroom, a guest bedroom, and our kitchen. And what we did was we took down the dividing wall that separated the bathroom and the bedroom from the kitchen, and now basically the whole space is just one big kitchen. There's no more bathroom there. There's no more second bedroom there. It's just one big open space. So in order to do that, we had to take out all the walls, and that required putting in a bunch of structural beams and columns and all kinds of, right down to the foundation. We had to dig down through the crawl space and into the basement and put in new concrete piers in the ground to support all this extra weight. And it's been, I always like demo and I like the rough part of the construction, but it's like dragging on now because it's gone way longer. Once I opened up that floor into the crawl space, you can't.
How much would you charge yourself if you had to
oh my God.
everything
Yeah,
that you discovered?
You were saying this the other day. I'm like, if I had to do all this structure for a customer, we would be into many.
Like you didn't anticipate seeing what you saw once you ripped up the floor.
Right. So it's pretty much like that with every project, and I'm finding that, the same carries through with ours as well. And plus, we live in an older house, so you never know what you're going to find when you open up walls. And actually, I'm pretty happy with most of the structure, but once we got into the crawl space, some of the stuff was a little undersized, and they built these older houses back in the 40s, kind of like a bungalow style, a New England Cape-style home. And they framed them with true lumber, true dimensional lumber, like a true 2x4. So it's actually a true 2-inch by 4-inch piece of lumber.
That's not what it is now?
No, it's 1.5 inches by 3.5 now.
Oh.
So It's a nominal size, they call it, as opposed to the actual true size. And so back then they used much better quality wood, but they used less of it. So like we would frame a floor or ceiling joist with 10-inch, 12-inch lumber. They framed the everything with 2x4s, even the roof rafters, everything, and they spaced them out 24 inches on center. So it's way, way under frame from what our current standards are now. So now that I have everything opened up, it's like time just to beef it all. It's the only chance we'll ever get to do this. So I'm starting with the ground, digging footings in the ground and working our way up to the second floor. Everything super heavy duty, concrete footings and big heavy structural laminated beams, and it's crazy. But anyway,
so then you also got plumbing that you
all of the plumbing has to be completely redone. All of the electric completely redone.
You had explained to me, which I didn't actually get. I didn't know this beforehand. I know that we had in that small bathroom, which used to be the only bathroom in the house until they built our bedroom a couple years before we bought the house, that there was like barely any pressure in the shower. And you were explaining to me that because it was older, that the pipes were smaller?
Yeah, everything was undersized, so the main pipes that carried the water across the house from the main to the heating equipment up into the bathroom were all 1/2 inch. So typically we pipe that stuff sometimes 1 inch, at least 3/4 inch pipe, and then tee off of that to the faucets in the tub with 1/2 inch. Sometimes we even go up with 3/4, but it gives a lot more volume of water to each, faucet.
I always wondered why that tub was so weak. I mean, like both of us never used it. That's the way they did them back then, though. It's very typical. The electric here was all, a lot of it was like kind of antiquated, and that's a couple of things they did here right before we bought the house, is they built that whole new extension. And when they did that, they had to upgrade everything. So they did update a lot of the plumbing. They updated the whole electrical service to 200 amp service. All the electrical had been ripped out and redone. So that's a big plus. But now, of course, we're adding more to everything. We're adding more plumbing, and with an island in the kitchen, and moving the bathroom back to. There's still going to be a second bathroom, but we're relocating it to another part of the house. So all of the waste, all the vents, all the supply for the hot and cold water, all that stuff gets moved. And you had to plug up the old shithole.
Big job.
From the other toilet.
Yes, the sheeter.
Yeah. So I was
plugged it up.
And I was like,
I usually plug up our bathroom.
I know. I was like, well, you were using that. I was like, I gotta go somewhere. So I just pulled out that insulation you stuffed in there, and I just took a crap right down that hole.
That's what that was?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I realized, man, there's no water. So then I had to go run to the sink, get some water, and pour some cups of water down there to wash my crap down.
Thanks a lot. Now, if I actually believed that, we'd have some serious problems. So everything, now, like when you have an opportunity to open the house up, and if any of you are doing construction and you're ever like demoing out walls, and you have an opportunity to where you're seeing inside the building envelope, you're seeing inside the structure, that's the time. Everyone's like, well, I don't know if we can afford to do all that stuff now. That is the time. Find the money and update everything that you can. The electric, the plumbing, all the stuff that's inside the walls, the vents, the insulation, everything.
It'll cost more later.
It's going to cost way more later, once you close it all back up again. So what that means is that these jobs, especially when you work on older homes and you start remodeling and opening things up, is that you always run into a can of worms that you didn't expect. Now, I do expect it because it's what I do, but even with our project now, I was faced with an opportunity to really overdo everything, and that's what I'm doing right now, because I never want to go in this crawl space again.
Right.
So
yeah. You have been on your back underneath this house so many times before that floor was ever opened up for various things.
Yeah, well, when I did work in there before, there was like maybe 10 inches of space underneath the floor joist, which I actually had to dig out the dirt.
Yeah.
Like a
he had a diet for like 6 weeks before he could even start the job.
What are those sea lions go up on the beach and they flop the sand up on themselves with the big flipper?
Oh yeah, you were like you were like a vole with your hands digging away.
That's right. I was down in the crawl space and I had to get underneath the floor beams between the dirt and the floor beams. So you were using your hand flippers. And actually my hand flippers were like shoveling out the dirt to squeeze my body underneath the beam. So now, we ripped up the whole subfloor so we can see. If we're standing in the kitchen right now, you really can't even stand it because you just got to balance from beam to beam. Right. But we're looking down into the crawl space. So I'm actually kind of amazed that being it's wintertime, we haven't had any visitors like any
Yeah, and you know
raccoons
what?
or anybody coming in out of the cold, right?
Thank God, yeah. Because really, I was
I've
expecting.
been planning on waking up in the middle of the night, coming out to the kitchen to, and it's like there'd be somebody crawling around in there having a party.
Yeah, somebody chilling out, eating some crackers.
Yeah. So anyway, we're in that rough stage right now, and I'm hoping that in the next day or two we'll complete all the, the plumbing, all the heating, all the under structure, electrical, everything we have to do underneath, so we can close up that floor, and then we can start building in all the stuff that goes on top of that. We're opening up an exterior wall and putting in a big patio door, moving around a bunch of windows.
So we went yesterday to the Home Depot because there's a lot of supplies that we need to have on hand.
I don't know what it is about going to the Home Depot. I feel like it's like I'm a kid in the candy store whenever I go in. I can't get out of that. That's a problem too, being with who we are and catch a contractor and everything. I swear, whenever I have to go there, I go in there in complete disguise. I have a cap on my head, sunglasses. Sometimes if I have a hooded sweatshirt or a hood on my jacket, I'll pull my hood up.
You look like the Unabomber.
Yeah, total Unabomber. And people are like, "Dude, I love your show," and I'm like, "Oh."
I know, and I didn't have any. You know what? Because the one where we live, the closest Home Depot is in a neighborhood that is not the most favorable. And so I thought to myself, well, since we're going there, it's a Sunday morning, no makeup. I'm going to wear my slippers with my jeans. I'm going to totally Walmart it up at the Home Depot. So I didn't have any makeup on.
You shouldn't have your pajama
I had on a
pants
hat.
on.
No, I didn't have pajama pants on, but I had on my skinny jeans, and I had on a hat backwards, no makeup, and my UGG slippers with my skinny jeans. So my feet looked real big in the UGGs with my skinny little tiny ankles.
Well, you have skinny little legs to begin with, and need big, giant, fluffy slippers.
Yeah, and I got big feet to begin with. So yeah, I looked like very out of proportion. So then
who cares? You're going to the Home Depot.
But
no,
because I wasn't expecting, because if I think we're gonna be out in public, and because people always say, "Oh, can I take a picture? Can I take a picture?" You know what I mean? So I was thinking, well, we're not gonna be recognized. We're gonna be in this ghetto Home Depot area. So you know what? Just go out, right out of bed. And sure enough, there were people. I love your show. Oh, and I can see people down aisles, looking and telling the person, I could tell, I think that's him. I could see them talking.
Yeah, sometimes you can hear a little bit of conversation off to the side. I think that's him. I'm not sure. I can't tell with the hat, the glasses, and the hood pulled up, but I think that's him. And then it'll be excuse me. And then they'll be like, "Yeah, it is him. It is him."
I know. And then and then people are so nice.
Everybody's really nice. Everybody always compliments the show and compliments what we're doing to help people with the show and catch a contractor and all that. So many people are just so great with us.
Yeah, they're really nice.
But sometimes you're trying to get in and out of it, and we always stop what we're doing, stop everything in our tracks, and whatever it is. You guys want to talk about the show, we'll take a picture, whatever you want to do. But sometimes, when I'm trying to get in and out of, especially Home Depot, it could be anywhere, like a gas station.
You're in there long enough as it is.
I know. That's what I was just starting to say before I got off on a tangent. But it's hard for me to get out of that store as it is, and especially if I'm working on a job or even here on our own house. I got people here working with me. I'm going on a material run. I need to get the shit back to the house so we can work, And it just never happens. It's it's so hard to get out of there.
Yeah.
And then I'll see a tool, and I'm like, "Ooh, what's that?"
Ooh.
Oh, hello. And I got to go check it out. I got to pick it up. I got to hold it. It's just, it turns into a very long process.
Yeah. I've been making a movie about the renovation of our house. And it's got pictures of the demo as it's occurring and a little bit of video, Skip explaining what he's doing, and us shopping in the store and what we're picking out. I'm becoming skilled. I finally figured out that fucking iMovie.
Yeah, you were struggling with that thing for a long time.
I just couldn't figure out how to start. It wasn't user friendly to figure out how to start. So then I finally.
You were struggling as much with the iMovie program as I was struggling with how much of the wall I wanted to remove.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to remove all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I went online and I looked at YouTube videos, and I finally got it figured out how to start making a movie. So what this means for everybody else who's listening is that now that I know how to make movies, we're going to make movies.
Oh, shit.
So now you're going to be able to...
What kind of movies are we talking about?
Dick, your how-to stuff, DIY stuff, and, you've been filming yourself doing certain things, roofing and all that shit.
I film all the time on my job sites and stuff.
But you can't do anything with it.
This is why I have 500 videos on my phone.
Yeah.
and there's no more room for anything.
But now I can put them together and make nice videos
because
for
you're
YouTube.
like the techie chick. You're like, you do all that stuff, and it's like, I've been waiting for you to say exactly what you just said to me. And be like, hey, I can edit all that stuff together, and we can make some good YouTube videos.
Well, I mean, like, literally, I learned it in one day. I made the most awesome video with music and sound and voiceover and fade in, different techniques, fade out, and words on the screen. I did like everything.
You did a really good job.
Yeah, one day I learned it.
It's
really
actually,
fast.
so think what you can do by day 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spielberg's going to be calling you up.
So yeah, and plus I made a couple of movies too for the ladies.
Oh shit.
Unless dudes want to put on some makeup too. But I made a couple of videos that I'm going to finally be able to edit together. With that in mind, actually, I have a tip also that because you always have your Skips tips, and there are a lot of ladies who are listening as well, and I know that because they write. Guys are asking you questions, but girls are also asking me stuff. So I have some stuff I'm going to talk about today, some super duper tips. But we're going to get to that a little bit later. But you know what we've got to mention? On April 9th, you're going to be at Hofstra University at the Nassau County Home Show.
Oh, yeah. It's another thing what we're doing while we're in New York here. We're trying to do some stuff, local appearance stuff. So there's a home show coming up.
Yeah.
I think it's a NARI-sponsored show, right?
Yeah.
It's the local Nassau Home Show. Which is kind of like what we just did out in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But it's like the spring show where all the building remodeling companies and everybody comes and shows all their products and their services. And it's actually a really cool show. If you guys are planning on doing anything around your house and you live in the New York area and you want to come over and check this thing out, I think it runs for
They have a lot of ideas because what these vendors do is they set up these. They'll bring big pictures and shit like that of all the remodels that they've done for ideas, but they also oftentimes they'll build something there at their
of displays.
Yeah,
so
display.
Especially everybody does it. Even roofing,
have like
siding
a
companies,
bathroom
window demo
display.
Yeah,
The
there'll
whole
be tons
bathroom will be
of
there.
bathroom and kitchen displays.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the landscaping companies have beautiful pergolas set up with paver walkways and water fountains and all kinds of stuff. Anything you can do at your house, inside or outside, will be on display at this show. And you can meet all the different companies and the vendors and cool products that you can check out. And, of course, I'll be there.
Between 12 and 3, and so will I.
Between 12 and 3.
And knowing us, we're gonna be staying long anyway because we're gonna want to, after you do your little seminar and meet and greet and all that business, we're gonna want to walk around and see all the vendors anyway. So we'll be there.
Yeah. So come on down and
we'll
check it out and say hey.
We'll have some hangout talk time with
That's
the peeps.
April 9th.
Yeah, April 9th.
12 to 3.
Yeah. Also, I want to remind everybody, if you're listening to us right now, that's good because tonight is actually the night that we're changing servers. We're uploading to the new server tonight.
Oh, cool.
So if you're listening to us, it worked.
And if you can't hear us, then it didn't.
And if it's way after March 1st and you've been trying to listen for days, I guess it didn't work. But hopefully it will. It should go really smooth. Gary he's taking care of everything. So
Gary's awesome.
He's awesome.
He's like a rocket scientist.
He
with his
is.
stuff, right?
Yeah, he knows how to do everything.
He knows how to do.
And if he doesn't, he
stuff.
learns it and figures it out real quick.
Yeah, I'm glad that somebody knows what the hell they're talking about because I just basically
You talk and
I
you
ease
show
my
up
way
and
up
look
to
pretty.
the microphone and that's it. I mean,
all you do.
Yeah, because
You're useless.
I'm busy doing. Whoa, whoa! Hey, now put the brakes on there, Blondie.
Just kidding.
Yeah, that's not what you were saying last night. I think there was a
Anyway, once again, while I'm trying to sleep, thank you very much.
That's what I do.
I know, and you know what it is again. And you know what I love though. What I love about you is that
you
always.
Everything about me.
I do, but when. Because you take Ambien, and so when I say to you, "Did you take Ambien?"
Do you know
you
why?
always,
Do you know why I take it?
Because you take it so you can sleep, obviously. But my point is that when I say to you, "Did you take Ambien?" Because when I notice you going like, "He should have came like 2 minutes ago," you know what I mean? You're going, it's because of the Ambien, and that's when I say, "Did you take Ambien?" And you say, "Yeah," and then I say, "Get off." As in, get off of me, because I got to go to sleep. I don't have like a half an hour, for you to work it out.
Yeah, I know. We all know about that. All right.
So
thanks for reminding everybody.
Yeah. So I love that you're honest about the Ambien when you're on Ambien. Do you have it in you to lie about the Ambien when you're on Ambien, or are you like so Ambiened up that you don't know what's the truth?
No. It's just I'm probably getting ready to go to sleep, and then I happen to notice that you are laying next to me with no clothes on. So. So I'm like, oh, wait a second.
Okay.
Hey,
all right.
Hold on, just 1 second. I might be able to just, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, have you noticed on Facebook that there is a new feature that is so stupid with the like button?
Yeah, I've seen it, and I haven't used it yet.
If you hold down the like,
I know, but I just still touch the like, and then I got.
Well, you can put emotions now.
I know.
It's so stupid.
Yeah,
like, really, is this necessary?
Yeah, I'm already like way too involved with all of that to get deeper into it. It's like I touch and go.
It's not even like it puts it on your comment. It puts it next to the number of likes. So you'll see like you've got 34 likes, and then there'll be like 20 are happy faces, 2 are curious faces, 1 is a pissed face.
So what do you do like when we put a post out, we get like 400 or 500 likes? They like line up the emojis like for pages?
It lines them up next to where it tells you how many likes, which is fucking stupid. Like, I don't care how many people put a smile. Like, if you click like, it's like, good enough, you know? And if you got something you want to say and you want to put an emoticon in your comment, then by all means, you know, sometimes it makes it funny, or, you know, like you get a better feel for what somebody's trying to say, because sometimes when you're writing something, you know, you can misinterpret.
It always like seemed odd to me, because like when people like write something really depressing, like, you know, went to the doctor today and just got diagnosed with cancer.
Do you click like?
Yeah, and then
what
like
the fuck?
and I would never click like, but then you look at the post and you see like they have like 70 likes, and I'm like, well, that doesn't seem right.
I know. It's like, yeah, that's been an issue, because they were talking about having a dislike, but they obviously didn't do it.
So like you want to show support that you read the post and like whatever, but like I don't really want to like that, right?
Yeah. You know, speaking of that, like the depressing thing, I had a horrible day today.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What happened?
It's been over. You could tell when I came home, right, that I was funky.
Yeah, I could tell when you left this morning.
Oh.
You were funky too.
Well, because it's been over 6 weeks.
I thought maybe it was because I kept you up all day.
No, well, being tired doesn't help. But it's been just over 6 weeks since our baby passed away.
Yeah.
And I had such a horrible day today because
it's tough. Losing Kilo, and you know.
Well, this is the thing that really bothers me about it. I'm going to feel myself when we're going to start to cry already. But this is the thing, because I haven't even discussed this with you at all yet. Is that where I seemingly look well, you know, like, right. and I joke and I laugh and I'm myself every day. But what you don't know is that the only way I'm able to do that is because I haven't been looking at any pictures at all.
Well, when you're ready to, you will. I mean, the grieving is a process that nobody can predict, and there's no rules to it. You're going to get through it the way that you can manage, that's going to allow you to still function and not put you into a hole,
Well, I passed by
you still have to function and carry on with your life. So I think you're doing a good job of that. And
is that good though? Because I'm not dealing with it at all, really.
Well, listen,
and they always say
everybody
you're
deals
to,
with these things.
Not.
Everybody handles this stuff differently, and I've dealt with a lot of loss in my life from many different people through, my whole family and parents and grandparents and everybody probably that, was important at one point or another. And many of them, I don't think I ever really let myself, I probably still am holding on to a lot of that stuff because I just always felt like maybe, I don't know if I even really had time to really grieve, and it kind of like subsides sometime. And then maybe like years later, you find yourself go through a period to where you finally address it. And I've dealt with that. So you might find yourself in the same situation. It's going to be on your own terms.
I got this email today from Shutterfly because, I get the Shutterfly coupons and stuff, and it was like 4 free magnets or whatever. So I was going to do that to get the magnets, and then so you have to go through your pictures to pick out the pictures,
That's how they got you.
And then it's like I'm scrolling, trying to scroll past these pictures really fast, but I couldn't help but see some of them, and it get me really upset.
Yeah. Well, I was going through my
anxiety.
pics. We've been clearing off tons and tons of photos on our phone because we each have like 10,000 photos, and I literally had 490 videos on my phone, and it wouldn't allow me to do anything else. So the other day, we were purging a bunch of stuff and, moving files and everything, and there's a lot of pictures of you and me with Kilo and all the other dogs and cats and stuff, and like some videos that when I was trying to get rid of all the videos, going through them and deleting what wasn't important.
You can't delete his video.
No, of course not. But there was someone like, when he was really like, peppy and a lot of energy, and like, like a few years back when he was still in really good shape and everything. And I think he could still see, he could still hear, and he was like just a different animal. And I was going to show you.
No, I
and then I'm like, I don't think I should even.
I just got such a sick feeling when I saw his picture. Like, something all of a sudden, it was like everything, my whole demeanor changed, and I got so sick to my stomach. And then the whole rest of the afternoon, I was just like, I felt like that anxiety and, like just, it just wrecked me, So I'm just upset because I want to look at his pictures, but I feel like I don't want to because I can't.
You will when you're ready. And everybody, I think, probably at one point or another has to deal with that. There is no point to you feeling bad. He's not keeping count, and nobody's keeping track. You do it on your own terms when you're ready. You have to carry on with your life. You have other, things going on in your life, and you have responsibilities, and you have a family, and you have things that you need to do. You got to get up and you carry on with your life, and so you deal with your grieving as you can do it and manage yourself, and it's everybody goes through this at one point or another, whether it's a friend or a family member, or we're all gonna, or in our case, like the dog, so everybody's gonna go through that at one point or another, and we all do it differently. So I think you're doing a really good job because you're right. It seems like sometimes I can't even tell that you're sad. So
I'm like always in my phone looking at pictures. Like that's just my thing. Like I'm always.
I just thought that was porn all the time. I'm like, why are you always on your phone?
No, although I did come across a couple of good naked pictures of me. I was thinking, should I get that on a magnet? I was like, no.
Naked pictures of you on a magnet.
And then I was thinking, if I get you a
Let's
magnet,
put that on the new refrigerator.
Yeah, there was no head. There's no head. My head is not on any of these pictures. But then I was thinking, the people at the Shutterfly who developed the pictures, like if they happen to see whose pictures they are, and then they'll know that that's me, and then all of a sudden my shit's out on the internet because some, unethical fucker took my naked picture, even though it was very flattering.
How about like back in the day, like when you dropped off your film and you got it developed? And
I totally did
took
that.
like some naked pictures or like some sex
Yeah.
pictures and stuff, and then like you got to go back in there to actually physically pick up your picture.
Yeah, I did it.
And they flip
the
through the file
away.
thing like we did. They find the little envelope with your name on it. Oh, here you go, and the kid hands it to you. And I always would look at their face to see if they
look at it.
If they start talking like whispering like, oh, that's the guy.
Yeah,
that's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy with the huge cock. That's him. Oh my God. Remember those freak show elephant dick pictures I developed the other day? That's the guy. That's Donkey Dong. Donkey Dong.
Oh. No, I used to use those mail away server, like the service, like where you put the film in the envelope and you mail it away, and then they mail you back your pictures. And I'm thinking, well, that shit's going like across the country, so no one's gonna know that it's me.
Right.
But then there was this one time when I was in Florida. And, I wanted to get the pictures right away, so I couldn't mail it away because I was, on a vacation. So I went to one of those photomat places and, went back a few hours later and got my pictures. And I was like, boom, in and out, I wasn't lingering.
Right.
Yeah, I was fucked up. I told you about that thing with my college. Yeah, I told you about that with my college roommate. She went through my shit. I caught them. I moved into a new suite with the upperclassmen girls, and I went into the suite. Like I had trouble getting in, but by the time I opened the door, I can see my roommate in our room, shutting the door real quick, and I knew she was up to no good. And next thing you know, all my nudies were gone.
Oh shit!
And then a couple of years later, I went on a date with some guy that I had actually went to elementary school with, who also went to this upstate college I went to, and he had one of those pictures, and that fucking bitch distributed them amongst whoever in the dorm. Yeah, so
I told you about the one that wound up in the trophy case at the high school, right?
Yeah.
My girlfriend in high school took a picture of me in the shower,
right.
And she slipped it between the two pieces of glass and the sliding glass doors and the trophy case.
She
they have.
trouble, right?
Yeah.
Bell
rang. First period. 1,000 kids come through the halls, and there I am, junk out. And it was behind the locked glass, so I couldn't get it out.
Well, and
I got called to the principal's office. I was the one who got in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Like what?
Well, we have to remind people we don't use the cloud. So stop your scheming, all of you, password code breakers, hackers.
Right.
We don't use the cloud. I will not put anything in the cloud, especially after what happened to Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, yeah,
Every time
right?
I think of Jennifer Lawrence, I think about her with a big load on her face.
Like hanging off her chin, right?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
I screenshot
really,
all
that's
that, too.
That's like the only image I have in my mind right now of Jennifer Lawrence.
Yep.
Like, yeah, right?
Yep.
No, like all the great movies she did and everything, she's
Every
got-
time I see her on
yeah.
TV, I think about her with a load on her face.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just total, like, facial.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. She took a lot of pictures too. A lot of pictures. And I screenshotted a bunch of them while they were still out there on Twitter because I knew that they were going to take them down. I was like, I still got you.
Could you imagine, like, being such, like, she's a huge star. I told you I saw her in Gold's Gym in Venice one day, right? She was on the
Jennifer
treadmill.
Lawrence?
Yeah.
You sure it was her?
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought you said it was Sierra.
That was a different day.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I saw Jennifer Lawrence on the treadmill in there one day. And it was so funny because that's exactly what I thought of. Like, I hardly recognized
You know what would be funny is if you went up to her and said that. Oh my God, it's you. Every time I see you.
You look so different without a load of jizz on your face. Wow, I'm used to seeing you with like a giant load on your chin. I hardly recognize you, Jen. Hey, nice to meet you. Love all your work. Hunger Games was great.
Hummer Games?
Yeah, Hunger Games.
Anyway.
Katniss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was Facebook with the emoticons. Have you noticed also Twitter that what is with these people? People have like 500,000 followers. People who are nobody, like somebody's mom or some high school kid. Like, and I know that you can buy followers, but it's an
When you say
exorbitant.
nobody, you say like not a celebrity figure?
Yeah, people who are not anybody that people know. Like they're just some regular person.
Got
Like
it.
Nobody's following them for any good reason.
Not in the public eye.
Right. They didn't write a book. They're not in a movie. They're not on TV.
Right.
Just like nobody that the world is going to like 500,000 followers. And I know you can buy followers, but there's an exorbitant amount of people with hundreds of thousands of followers.
Right.
And it really now has trivialized the glamorousness of having so many followers. You know what I mean? Like, like Kim Kardashian has 1 million or whoever, famous
But you
people.
would expect
Even
her-
Adam only has 500,000, I think.
Right, yeah.
And then you got some fucking kid in high school with 500,000.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like, what's the difference now? It's not so
Well,
important
Corolla
seeming.
doesn't need to buy any followers.
No.
So, but that is interesting that you say that because just goes to show you he's a huge presence and done 1 million things and tremendous following, and his numbers are realistic because that's what it is, right? So, but then you see like a high school kid who's like 13 or has the same amount of followers as like Adam Carolla or someone else that's doing big things all over television and movies and writing books and everything else,
Right.
and you're like, all right, well, the kid must have bought all his followers because there's no
Right.
way that many people are interested in reading about his lacrosse game.
Right. And plus also that little fucking birdie that like you're verified, that's also has become a load of bullshit. People are verified that like they're not famous celebrities. They're not like if you have to like really Google who the fuck is this person, you know what I mean? Like, and they're like verified. But meanwhile, there are people with very little who aren't that famous who are verified. It all comes down, somebody at Twitter.
I'm thinking that it's like it has to do with your activity also. If you look at those accounts,
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you how I.
They don't
how I
have
know.
like tweets every 5 minutes.
No. I'll tell you how I know this to be true, because you have been extremely busy on Twitter. I mean, we were live tweeting. You write back to everybody. You
Not
were posting.
lately.
No, not
Yeah.
lately. But I'm saying when the show's airing, you have been extremely active. You always have been.
Right.
You were on a third season.
I tweet with everybody.
You were a third season co-host of a popular show that has over 1 million viewers a week, and you were not verified. Now, Spike had put on Lip Sync Battle on the air, and before they even had 100 followers, they were verified, which basically means they got a hookup in there. There's a way to actually make them verify you because they didn't do anything other than have a connection to get verified. Yeah. Now, who also is verified is the guy from America's Worst Tenants. That was also one, like I think 2 seasons on Spike.
Todd.
Yeah.
Right.
So meanwhile, he's verified, but if you look at his tweets, they don't live tweet. He barely tweets. He's got less followers than you. Why is he verified and you're not?
I don't know.
The reason is there is no reason. I'm saying what my point is that the verification, as well as the number of followers, has all become trivialized and bullshit. It doesn't mean anything anymore. Right. You know, like back when it first started,
I figured like getting verified because anybody can open an account. Skip Bedell, like anybody could say they're me, right? So like that's one of the downsides of that whole thing is that there could be 10 Skip Bedell accounts and you don't know. But
the purpose is that it verifies that you're verified and that you're the person. But meanwhile, nobody's pretending to be Todd. You know what I mean? And like nobody, it's like
nobody was. I mean,
and plus there was one other Skip Bedell, which fucking strangely and coincidentally is from a town that next to you, where you met him, what was it, over like 10, 20 years ago?
Yeah, like 30 years ago.
And he grew up in the town next to yours.
Was it a car show or a motorcycle show or something? And somebody introduced me to this guy, and they're like, oh man, you got to meet this guy. His name is Skip Bedell too. And I'm like, how is it possible that anybody? It's like they're two kind of odd names, right? So like, how could there be another one? And like, it's not like John Smith,
right?
And like, sure enough, there he was.
So then he had the at Skip Bedell, all one word, and so we had to make yours Skip_Bedell. Long story short, he was not using Twitter at all. He was like completely inactive, so it was like nearly impossible to get in touch with him to ask him if we can have the name. Right. So eventually, I think he had like three times he used it, and he saw that he was tagged. I had asked him if we could have the name, and he finally wrote back, and he said, yeah, no problem, and he let us have at Skip Bedell, and he changed his name, which was very nice of him.
Which we still haven't used, right?
You can use it. It's active, but we didn't change the one that you're actively using to that one, because once you do that, then all the conversations you're in, I don't know, it's very confusing. But yeah, they're both you, and they're both working. They're both active. You can you can do anything on Twitter with either one of them. Yeah, they're both you.
Cool.
So yeah, that's my point. Is that
well, people on Twitter that go on my stuff will be disappointed because I have hardly been on there at all.
You've been working
in the last couple of months. I feel like I've hardly even looked at it because
well, me too.
I just don't. Wow. Look at those.
I know.
Hello. The headlights are on.
They caught the corner of my eye, too.
I'm like back. Yeah, right. Ooh, you like those, too, right? Like, ooh.
Oh, I look
Is it cold in here? Remember, back in the 80s, I had what did I have? What they called it? It was still a ZX back then, like a 280 ZX. And they used to talk to you when the door is open or lights are on.
Lights are on.
Yeah, your lights are on.
You're an idiot.
It
was like doors ajar.
Door
I think it
is
said.
ajar.
Yeah, my dad had one of those.
Chick's voice, right?
Yeah, my dad had one of those, like the Datsun B210, was it, or something,
I had
280Z.
Yeah,
I don't know.
280ZX.
Or maybe it was the B210, like the little shipmobile that I had.
Before it became Nissan.
Right, Datsun.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're old.
Yeah, so that's my gripe with Twitter now too, is the bullshit behind how many followers you have and who's verified and who's not. Because now it's insignificant now because it's been abused. Anybody can have hundreds of thousands of followers.
It just doesn't matter.
It just really doesn't matter. Be advised though, but we do go. I still go on it, so people want to communicate.
I will definitely be going on it, and I apologize if I haven't been responding promptly to people as I usually do. And and you're right. During the season when we're airing Catch a Contractor, we're constantly on that thing. We're live tweeting during the show and all that. I just haven't had we're between seasons right now, and I haven't had time to I'm so busy with stuff that we're doing that social media is on the back burner right now for me. So I think that by the end of the day, when I get home or for whatever we're doing, I'm so burnt that I don't even want to talk to anybody else. It's yeah, you're lucky I talked to you.
I'm lucky?
It's only because you're hot.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not because my brain? My awesome, smart brain?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so...
if I had to weigh out the brain and the hotness, so I think I'd be leaning toward the hotness.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, well, yeah. On the surface level, anyway. When I really get into deep conversation with you, of course, it's because of your amazing brain. But I mean, like, just like, as the glance goes by, like, real quick, you're passing by, like, ooh, what's that?
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, what's that? Ooh,
Thank you.
ooh.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't been feeling so pretty lately. Oh, God. And with that, I'm going to also, I got a tip for the ladies. But first, let's do your tip.
When helping people with their homes, they call Skip Bedell.
You want to avoid a headache and save money, he's the man to talk to. Skip Bedell.
Well, I do have a tip that I think might be handy for everybody. I mean, we've all been there trying to drive in screws to wood or any other type of project or thing that we're doing. We use screws for a lot of different things. And I got a couple different tips that can make that whole job easier. How many times has the screw broken or the head of the screw stripped out? What can you do to make that easier? Okay, first of all, people seem to always want to use drywall screws for like every project that they do. So if you're going into the store and you see people buying screws, chances are they're picking up a box of black drywall screws and they use them for every type of project. Drywall screws are designed to be put into drywall, not into everything else. So the tip of them and also the head and the whole shape of it and the material, which has great strength for installing drywall, but it's also very brittle. So not always the best choice for doing woodworking, some other projects. There are some great screws out there that'll make the job a lot easier. One of them is made by a company called Spax, S-P-A-X. It's a star drive screw, which also means that you're going to need to use a different tip in your driver, but it strips out a lot less frequently than the regular Phillips head screw head rather, because of the star drive. The other great thing on these Spax general construction screws is that they have a drilling tip, which means that you don't need to make a pilot hole. Many times when you use a regular screw or drywall screw, even you put it into a wood project, it seems to want to bounce off the wood or not dig into the hole or dig into the wood unless you make a pilot hole first. These screws also have a self-drilling tip, which makes it really easy to use. Another mistake that people make a lot of times is that they keep the tips on their driver on way too long, especially if you're using Phillips head screws and tips. They get stripped out really easy. So if you have an older tip on your drill or driver, change it and you'll find that you have a lot better experience. It's not going to strip out your screws as much. Another thing you can do, which we use a lot, it's a really great trick. I picked this up from a Finnish carpenter years ago and a guy that made cabinetry, and it works great. Wax your screws. We use like a Johnny ring or a toilet bowl installation wax ring. We keep it in a container, and when we're doing project, we just dip the screw in it and spin it once or twice in that wax. When you put a little bit of wax on the screw, it goes through the wood a lot easier, and chances of you breaking the screw off in the hole or stripping it out or splitting the wood will be a lot less. Another thing that people run into a lot is when they're working on projects that have paint over the screw head. Say like you want to change a set of hinges on an old door and it has a lot of paint over the screws. It's hard to get that screw to the tip to bite into the screw. So one of the tricks that we do is we'll take the tip off of the drill. We'll hold it up against the screw and tap it a couple times with a hammer, kind of like a nail set.
Like break through the paint? It'll
break right through the paint and it'll punch that pattern back into the screw, and then you can go ahead and put it back on your drill or driver. Speaking of drills and drivers, if you're using a regular drill to install screws, an impact driver, which are fairly affordable, does the job a lot easier, and it works really great. It kind of gives it like a slight impact as it turns the screw. It's also designed for more torque than speed, so it makes the job of putting screws in a lot easier. If you're using a regular drill, most cordless drills especially will have a variable speed switch on top of it. So if you look on the top of the tool, you'll see a switch that has a 1, 2, or 3 setting. If you set it toward the slow or medium setting for driving screws, it's much better than the high speed. You want to only use the high speed for when you're using drill bits and making holes, but for setting screws, definitely slow or medium. One last thing that I found that makes the job a lot easier of putting a screw in is we use tips on our screws that have an extension sleeve on it that slides over the screw. So if you need your hand to hold a piece of material and not hold it, pinch the screw like you're holding a nail and guide it into the material, you can actually use your free hand to hold the material and not the screw with this tip. It has a sleeve on it that slides over the screw tip and a magnetic head on it that holds the screw in place. So it makes the job of putting that screw in a lot easier because now you don't need that hand to hold onto the screw. You can use it to hold the material.
Is that like a product like that you buy separately?
Yeah, actually you can buy it for a couple of bucks in any hardware store.
I'll look for it to see if I can put a link on.
Yeah, here's a picture of it right here. It's basically just an extension tip that goes into your drill, and you can plug in any type of screw tip that you want, Phillips head, flat, whatever, star drive.
I'll put a link to that on our
yeah,
website.
but it has this great sleeve that slides over the screw, and it holds the screw in place.
So you can use your other hand to hold the project.
Yeah, you don't need to hold onto the screw while you're driving it in. So that's a really nice little tool. And it's a simple thing to use. Just a couple of hours can make your job so much easier. So just those few things can make your whole screw driving experience much better. One more thing I'll leave you with is that if you happen to be working on woodworking especially, and you find that you need to install a screw, where this happens a lot is when you're changing hinges or hardware on a door, and they have the little short screws that hold the hinges in. You take the old screws out, you put your new hinge on, you slap in the new screws, and the holes are now kind of stripped out. They're spun, and the screws aren't biting into the hole anymore. But you need to use that same hole for the location of the hinge. So what do? Take some wood glue and a couple of toothpicks, jam them in the hole, tap them in lightly until they're all the way in with the glue, let it set, and then go back with a utility knife and cut it off. Now you can put the screw back into that hole, right into the toothpicks. It'll kind of fill the hole with wood.
Crafty solution.
Yeah, it'll fill the hole with wood, and now you'll be able to drive the screw in where it was once stripped and too big for the screw. So
awesome.
There you go. Just a couple little handy tips on how you can make the job of screwing a lot easier.
Thanks for that tip.
And don't forget to strip before you screw. Well, sometimes you can strip after you screw. I don't know.
Oh, well, you can give me a private lesson afterwards.
I will. Absolutely.
I have a quick tip for the ladies.
Ooh, lady tip.
Yeah, this is a tip. I'm giving this tip because it occurred to me as I was looking in the mirror this past weekend with my pale skin that I'm like, damn, girl, you got really, really ugly in the last couple days.
What?
And the reason I was thinking that was because I usually use spray tan because I'm very conscious of not putting my face in the sun. So I use L'Oreal Sublime. It's a spray tan in a can. It's like $9, $10. You can get it in
tan
CVS.
In a can.
Yeah. So I use that every 2 nights or so, and I spray it before I go to bed over my moisturized face. And so I always look like I have a tan when, in fact, I'm really pale as a ghost, but it's all fake.
Oh, that's how you keep that golden bronze look.
And it looks very, very natural. No one is ever the wiser, except for everybody listening. But
now 40,000 people are.
Yeah. But what I did notice over the last couple of years since we started, with the show and me wearing more makeup, I used to always think that I looked fine without any makeup on other than mascara and lipstick. But I did not realize what a tremendous, tremendous, tremendous difference it makes when I put on just some concealer and some foundation. So there are 3 products that I use religiously that it will make you look like a whole other better person, better looking person in less than 5 minutes, I promise you, because I don't have time for that bullshit before I go to work in the morning. I'm not really caring how much, if I look great, but I definitely look better to the point where I can look in the mirror and say, all right, you're not that bad.
You're not too busted. See, now I just installed that new dimmer switch in the bedroom, and I found that works really well because if I turn the lights down really good, you look like even hotter than ever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for that compliment. So this is what I'm going to tell you guys, ladies or gentlemen. First thing is have a concealer and get one that is in a store like Sephora, one that's like a name brand that costs a little bit more because you really do get what you pay for with some of these things. I personally use a brand called Youngblood. I had gotten that from my makeup artist in California, and she got me hooked on it. A good concealer will cover your blemishes or your imperfections with just a little bit. You won't need to put a lot on. So what I do is I either use my finger or I use a foundation brush, a small foundation brush. And if you do use a brush, make sure it's a good one. Go to MAC or use one from Makeup Forever because, again, it's the difference between having streaks or having it glide on and look like it's part of your skin. So I use this concealer. I put it under my eyes, like in the corners where the dark part is, under my entire lash line, on my eyelid, and also in the creases of my nose on the sides where I get little broken capillaries. I also put some concealer on my upper cheekbone, which is kind of like where my crow's feet would be, or should I say crow's feet are. I put it up there too because it's like the high bone part, like where you're supposed to get some reflection of light, and it's like that's where you're supposed to put highlights on your face. So I put some concealer there, under my eyes, on my eyelid, on the sides of my nose. That way all those things that are dark or red or imperfect looking are now made more even with the rest of the tone of my skin. After I put on the concealer, I have 3 different types of foundation that I bounce between. One is a powder concealer. One is a liquid foundation. One is a powder foundation. The other one's a liquid foundation. The other one is a spray foundation.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff.
It is. But they
You put all this stuff on the same time?
No. I use only one or the other or the other. It depends on my mood. But all of them, I'm telling you, they're the best products. They go on very easily. You don't need a lot of it, and it's on in less than like 2 minutes. You have your entire face looks different. You look like a totally different person.
It's kind of like spackle.
Yeah, but not quite as thick.
Oh.
That's what I love about this stuff, because it doesn't look like you're wearing makeup. It just looks like you have perfect skin, like it's all even. It's amazing.
No sanding required.
No.
That's good.
Although you should exfoliate every night.
All right.
So the first product that I use is by Youngblood, and it is their Natural Mineral Loose Foundation. I'm going to put a link to all of these on our website because, believe me when I tell you, you will write to me and thank me once you use these products, because you're going to look so much fucking better.
And the guys will thank you too, because their girls will be looking good.
Yeah, exactly. So I take a foundation brush and I dip it into, I put a little bit into the cap of the loose foundation, and I dab it into the brush into the cap, and I get it, and you really only need a very light layer on your face. Like I put it on my nose, on my cheeks, across my eyes, my forehead. You barely need any, and in like less than a minute, all of your skin is going to look even and one color, and it doesn't look like you're wearing anything heavy. It's amazing. You can layer it. You can put a few more layers of this foundation on, and it still doesn't look heavy. It's like I'm really like I'm addicted to this foundation. It's natural mineral
You're very
loose
excited
foundation.
about this.
I am. It's very different than loose powder. Do not put this on or buy another brand and say, oh well, she uses this loose stuff. No, this is a different texture. This is loose foundation. It's a totally different texture, and this particular brand kicks ass. And it's so good that you don't need a lot of it for it to make your entire face look like it's even.
So you don't get like that pancake face.
Correct.
Ah.
The other product that I use is by Makeup Forever. It's the Matte Velvet Mattifying Foundation.
Is it really forever though?
No. It's in a soft, flexible bottle. And what I do is I take it, I squeeze on a droplet onto my nose and onto the top of each cheek. And then I take the Beauty Blender, which is one of those sponges that you get, like it's like shaped like a teardrop. A lot of fakes are out there, all different types of beauty blenders with these little round, sponges that you use to apply makeup. I'll tell you this. I use the real one, the real brand, the Beauty Blender brand that you can buy it in Sephora. My makeup artist also gave that to me, and I got to tell you, it makes a tremendous difference when you use the good brand. You put it under your water, you squirt all the water out so it's just damp, and after you put the droplets of foundation on your face, you use the Beauty Blender to put it across, all across your nose and on your cheeks, on your eyes, your forehead, by your stash area. Those 3 droplets should really be enough on that Beauty Blender to cover all of your whole face and cover up any freckles and any imperfections. And remember, you got the concealer on, so it's going to go right over that, and your face is going to look so different. Now, this third product that I use is my favorite. This particular product I waited to purchase after Skip had won all of his winnings at Mohegan Sun, because I was too cheap to buy it for myself. So when he won some money, I was happy to let him buy it for me.
That's where my money went.
Yeah, it's like $50 or $55, but I will tell you that there's a reason for it. It is worth every penny. I heard about this product from a YouTube video from a makeup artist called Wayne. The guy's name is Wayne Goss. He's got a ton of YouTube videos, instructional, how to put on makeup, different products, all that. This particular product he was talking about, he's like, your skin will look flawless. You won't see any pores. And let me tell you, because I don't like to be able to see the pores in my skin. This stuff is amazing, and it's the quickest of all the products. You will look the best with this one. I've used it on Skip actually when we filmed our show, and it's just amazing how quick it works and how evenly it works. There's no wiping, there's no rubbing, you don't have to do anything with this because it is a spray foundation. It's called Air Flash. You shake it. It's like a can of what is it called? Spray paint, almost. But
you're going to graffiti your face?
Right. So you take this can and you hold it about a foot away from your face, and you give your entire face a once over. And by once over, I mean once. So you're just going to go left, right, as you're making your way down your face. So you're pretty much, because it goes on quickly. You do not need a lot of it. It's very expensive. You won't want to use a lot of it. But believe me when I tell you, you go over your skin once with this thing and you're going to be like, holy shit, that's the most perfect I've ever looked in my life. This product, of course, because it's expensive, you have to decide which one of these. All these products are really, really, really good. But this third one is my favorite. And of course, it's the most expensive, but it works the best, especially when you've got like imperfections in your skin, or some of it's dark, or you got a pimple, you got capillaries or veins or a mole or whatever shit's
you got all that
fucking your face up.
There?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I'm telling you, it makes.
Who
when I
are
put
you?
this stuff on, I'm telling you, I'm like,
how do you look
girl.
like underneath that shell?
I wake up in the morning, I'm like Barney, and then I put this shit on, I'm like, you're okay.
Wow.
Yeah, the stuff is really, really, really good. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put links to this stuff on our website. So, but I promise you, you guys.
I'm to wonder, have I ever seen you without this stuff? Like who are you?
We met without all of this stuff, but every day he says to me, "How'd you get so pretty?" And let me tell you, this stuff is how I do it. This stuff is what makes me look like a human being. So
you've had me fooled for years.
Yes, I have. And I promise you guys, if you buy this stuff and use it, you will write to me and thank me, because you can be like, oh my God, that's a really good product. So you're welcome. And
there you go. All right. Well, there's your tip.
Okay. So now listen, we have a lot of questions from Facebook that we got tonight. We had some technical difficulties, so we did not get an opportunity to get to them in this episode. Well, actually we did, but I had to delete them all because we had some fucking problems with this recording. So with that in mind, we will not forget about you, because we're going to address all of those questions on the next episode, and we're going to hit all of the news stories that we talked about that were so interesting that I had to delete in this episode as well. So
no news either?
No, I mean we talked literally. I had to erase like 40 minutes worth of episode.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a first. And it was all my fault. I fucked up. I did something I shouldn't have done. I will never do it again. But with that being said, I hope that this
I know exactly what you did.
I know.
If you do it again, you're going to be recording the shit by yourself.
I know. Well, with that being said, it was a decent size length anyway. We had gone probably about an hour and a half to hour and 40 minutes, and I had to just get rid of so much. So anyway, thank you to the people that wrote on Facebook. We have your questions. We are going to answer them all. We really appreciate you guys listening to us. And don't forget, we have hammerandnailspodcast.com, where you can listen to the episodes and also look at the links, look at the episode summaries, look at everything Skip and Allison, where he's going to be, where I'm going to be, where we've been, what we're doing, what we're going to look like when we're 90.
Tell your friends to check us out too, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you. We love you.
Later.